Broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hi everyone, this is Jay from ShopWorks. Thanks for attending our webinar today. The subject is OnSite 10 and ShopWorks Pay. If you've never attended one of our webinars before, it is recorded, so there will be an opportunity to share it with other staff members or relook at it down the road. We'll send out a link to everybody for that after the webinar. You'll also have the opportunity to ask questions. And the way that we're going to do that is through your question pane. When you logged into this webinar, there's an area where you can type questions in. I would encourage you to ask questions throughout the webinar. At the end, I'll save time to answer all of your questions, or as many as I can. We're going to try to keep this to an hour today, hopefully even a little bit shorter than that. So again, ShopWorks Pay and OnSite 10, that's the subject. And we are giving away a single $100 Amazon gift card today. So that's just our way of thanking you for your time. And I'm going to give you one entry to the raffle. We're going to raffle it off later today, and one entry based on just your being here. And then I'm also going to do 2 polls today. They're very just short questions. I just want your input. I'll share those polls with you. And for each poll that you take part in, we'll also get you 1 entry into the giveaway. So again, our subject today is OnSite 10 and ShopWorks Pay. I do want to let you know that OnSite 10, the upgrade, is mostly about ShopWorks Pay. That's the key feature that we've included in OnSite 10. However, later in the webinar, I will also share a few other features that we've added in OnSite 10. It's not 100% about ShopWorks Pay, but it's mostly about ShopWorks Pay. Okay, and the way that I'm going to do this webinar today is I'm going to show you some advantages of ShopWorks Pay, and then I'm going to show you some of the actual features in the software itself. So we're going to kind of flip back and forth. Some of these I'm going to go through very fast. So advantage number 1 of ShopWorks Pay over other payment gateways, and that's what ShopWorks Pay is. ShopWorks Pay is a payment gateway that you use from within your on-site system. So you can transact, process credit cards in a much easier fashion through on-site than you could through something that's not connected to on-site. So I'm going to go through the advantages, and number 1 is lower credit card fees. So most of us have paid thousands of dollars per month in credit card fees, and the one big advantage of ShopWorks Pay is to get you lower credit card fees. Now, how do we do that? Well, number 1, ShopWorks now is the credit card processing company. So we cut out the middleman. There's less people taking less fees. That's the number 1 way that we save you money. The number 2 way we save you money is through technology. And that's by using level 3 data. Level 3 data is simply invoice information. And the way that gets you lower rates is credit card companies are very concerned about fraud, as they should be, and security. So by sending level 3 data, we're sending more than just a customer credit card number and expiration date. We're also sending the actual invoice details, and that secures you a lower rate. The beauty of it is it doesn't cost you any time. You're not hand entering this data. OnSite just sucks it out of the OnSite system and passes it through to the credit card processing company. And the reason why we can do this is because we're very highly integrated with this, because again, we essentially are the credit card processing company. Number 3 is this is a product that we want our customers to have. We think there's a lot of technology advantages, but there's also pricing advantages. And our goal is to save you about 5 to 10% on your credit card fees. Now, that's not going to be true for every customer. Some customers it's going to be higher, some customers it's going to be lower. But the goal is to save you money. And we do have what we call meet or beat pricing. So at the very least, we'll be able to meet your existing fees, but in most cases, probably 90% of the time or higher, we'll actually be able to get you price discounts or cheaper fees. And the last part of this credit card fees component is there's no hassle, no obligation quotes. You guys are all ShopWorks customers. You've dealt with ShopWorks for a long time. We're not a high pressure company with regards to our sales. We never will be, and that extends to our ShopWorks Pay as well. So we want you to get a quote on it. We want to show you how we can save you money, but we're not going to be overly pushy about it. All right, advantage number 2, easy and fast sign up. So if you do sign up for ShopWorks Pay or you get your quote, you decide you want to move forward, we're going to make it easy for you to sign up for ShopWorks Pay. That means a quick approval process, and that means a quick setup within your on-site system. And I'll show you there's some technology advances in that regards. So very little paperwork, and we get you up and running fast. Advantage 3 is ShopWorks support. So moving forward with ShopWorks Pay, you don't need to call another company if you need support. So if you have a problem with something's not working right, if you have a problem with don't understand reporting, you have a problem with something within your on-site system or within merchant pay, and I'll show you merchant pay here in a little bit. Well, there's no need to call another company. You're just going to go through your normal ShopWorks personnel. You're going to contact us, and we provide all level 1 support. That means we're going to be able to answer and solve 90% of the problems. Anything else that we need, we're still not going to require you to call somebody else. We'll take care of it. We will be the ones responsible for getting you that higher support if it's necessary. And it's not going to be necessary very often. Advantage number 4 is the credit card vault. So let me show you that. The credit card vault is basically where you're going to store your customer credit card. And I should have mentioned this earlier, but when I say credit card, I'm really referring to credit card and ACH information. ACH information is your customer wants to pay you with a check, but they want to do it electronically. So that's ACH or e-check. You might have heard of called that. Those are different terms we use. But when I'm talking about the ShopWorks Pay functionality, it refers to both credit card and ACH information. Just for brevity's case, I say credit card, but it also applies to ACH. So the vault allows you to store your customer credit card on file securely. That's really important if you want to do recurring payments with customers, or if your customer says, I want you to just keep this card on file for me. OnSite can handle that, and importantly, very importantly, it does it securely, where you're not exposed to fraud. And we also provide you with tools in OnSite to help you manage, update expired credit cards. So let's get into a little bit of demo here. I'm going to flip over to my OnSite system, and I'm going to go navigate over to customers. And I'm going to bring up a customer in the system that I do a lot of orders and different transactions for, the DC Special Olympics. And you'll notice if I go over to receivables, under receivables, you'll notice there's a vault tab. And that vault tab is showing me every stored credit card that I have on file for DC Special Olympics. Now, I say it's a stored credit card. It's not really a stored credit card. It's a stored token. It's a token. So this is encrypted and tokenized. So you're not actually storing credit card information in your on-site system. And that's important because it helps you avoid fraud and helps you with PCI compliance. PCI compliance are laws revolving around storing credit cards and how you're allowed to do it, etc., and not allowed to do it. And so having this tokenized and in the vault allows you to control that. So I can see all this information. You have to have access to this area of OnSite, and then if I click on a transaction, it's not actually a transaction, a vault item, I can see the item in that vault. And one of the very important things that we have the ability to do in ShopWorks Pay that you don't have with other credit card processors is this update button. So we'll talk about that a little bit more here in a second, but let me just move forward. So that's where you can see the vault as it's related to each individual customer. I can also go over to the vault from our customer section, and you can see I've created a stored find called Find Expired Cards. I'll show you that here in a second. But if I click on all items in the vault, this is all my different records for all my different customers. Some of these are stored credit cards, and some of them are stored ACH or checking information. And you can see that by this column. Of course, I can search by that. I can sort by it. I can search by customer. I can sort by customer. And you'll notice you kind of get something pretty apparent on the screen as you get some red. Some of these items are indicated in red. They're expired. And that's one of the nice things about ShopWorks Pay is you can actually use your on-site system to manage these credit cards. So let's see how I would do that. Well, for my home menu, I can just find on expired cards. I created a stored find for that. Another way I'd be able to do it is just view everything in the vault. That's everything. Let me omit tokens. I'm going to omit all tokens that are not expired, which means show me all the expired ones. And there's my expired tokens. And from here, I can see they're just, all that's happened is the expiration date has expired. So what I can do here is I can then go in and I can click on the little view customer button, and I would call this customer and I could refer them to that vault item that's expired. And hey, can I get another, can I update the expiration date? Let's say they say to update it. Simply click on that card. I'm going to go ahead and update the date. And let's say they just said moved it forward 2 years, it's 2024. I'm going to update it and close this. And now it's good. We've updated it. And so what you can do is you can build into your system a procedure whereby every month, maybe you get ahead of it by a month or get ahead of it by a couple months. You contact all of your customers who have expired cards, and you can send them emails, you can call them, and you get the updated card information. And the important thing is you can update it in the vault, and you can only do that with ShopWorks Pay. Now, if I want to use a vault item, let me show you how easy it is to use one. So I'm going to go into sales. Again, I'm going to bring up Special Olympics. I'm going to bring up one of their orders. Nothing exceptional about this order. There's a design on it. We have line items. It's a $1,600 order. And I'm just going to go here to payments. And I want to take a deposit on this order. Now, this is all access controlled. So I can do this from the payment section. I could also do it from the accounting area. So that'll just depend on how your system's set up and how you want to use it. But the mechanics are basically the same. I'm going to add a payment. I'm going to select my credit card. I'm going to bring up, I'm going to do a deposit. I'm not doing the full amount. And my ShopWorks Pay is my gateway I'm using. And you have 3 options here. I can do a manual transaction, which is if I wanted to enter a new credit card. I can use an item already in the vault, or I can use a terminal. So obviously ShopWorks Pay can work with terminals. You can connect a terminal to your computer, and you can use that tied to your system. But I'm just going to show you how I can use an item in the vault. It's a stored credit card. This is their default, the one with the green check mark. If they told me to use another one, I could just go to one of these other ones. But I'll go ahead and use this one. I select the item from the vault. I'm processing, and that's it. Click on process, and it's now going to process the transaction. This token was already stored in the vault, so it's not giving me the opportunity to store it. However, if you're entering new card information, you have the option of storing that in the vault for your next transaction with this customer. And all of this is access control. I'm not going to get into the whole access controls. I will show you later in the webinar where you can get some like higher level training materials. I'm just kind of giving you the top level view today. So very simple to use, works great. And let's move on. So that's the credit card vault. The 5th advantage is security and PCI compliance. So because these tokens are encrypted in the vault and they're stored securely in the cloud, not in OnSite, that limits your liability and your abilities to get in trouble with PCI compliance. So PCI compliance is a complicated subject. You do have to be involved in PCI compliance, but ShopWorks Pay takes most of that off of you. Where you need to be careful is when customers are giving you credit card information and you're writing it down on pieces of paper and storing those pieces of paper. That can get you into trouble. Obviously, OnSite does not have that ability to store the paper. Well, actually, you could scan it and store it in OnSite. You shouldn't do that. So there are some things that you have to do. But when you're transacting through OnSite, you don't have to worry about it. All of that information is encrypted and stored securely in the cloud. Okay, I'm going to break here and I'm going to launch our first poll. And remember, by participating in this poll, it's only going to take you a couple seconds. It's a simple question, and it's going to get you a raffle ticket, an additional raffle ticket into the $100 Amazon gift card giveaway. So I'm going to launch the poll. It's now open, and the question is, are you currently processing credit cards from within your OnSite system? So just answer yes or no, or if you're not sure, that's our 3 different options. I'll share the results with you in a second. Thank you for voting quickly. I see you guys are clicking at it. We got 80%, and I'm gonna close the poll in a couple seconds here. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let me close the poll. And so we're about at 50-50. So, actually a little bit less. 44% of you are processing credit cards within OnSite. 56% are not. And for the 56% that are not, you're spending a lot of time having to manually transact credit cards, then re-enter them into OnSite. By doing it from within OnSite, you're going to save a lot of time. So, okay, thanks for participating in that poll. Let's move on. Our next subject is bulk payments. Bulk payments, what does that mean? So bulk payments are, and I'm going to show you it here in a minute, but you can process credit card and ACH payments stored in the vault in bulk. That means not doing it one at a time, but across multiple invoices. The reason why you might want to do that is for number one might be receivables. Let's say you have a bunch of receivables, you have a bunch of customers who have given you credit cards to use over and over again, and you want to process those credit cards, but you don't want to have to do them one at a time. You want to do 20 in a batch or 50 in a batch or whatever. That's one use case. Another use case is you do monthly billing of stuff. So let's just say you do company stores and you have 20 company stores out there, and every month you send out an invoice to your customer, or you make an invoice for your customer for the management of the online store. And let's just say it's $100 per customer. So you have 20 invoices at $100 per customer, and you want to charge their credit cards. You have their credit cards on file. Part of your deal with them when they do a company store is you're not going to send them an invoice for a check. You're simply going to hit their credit card automatically. So what you could do is you could just do those 20 invoices. You can invoice them in bulk, and you can process the payments in bulk. So obviously this is a huge time saver, and it can be done from the receivables section of OnSite, and it can be done from invoicing. And what that looks like is, let's flip back over to OnSite, and I'm going to go over to accounting. And again, this is all access rights controlled, so you can control who can and cannot do this. And I'm going to click on receivables. And I'm doing receivables by order, not receivables by customer. This only works for receivables by order. And I'm going to say, show me all my orders that have a balance. I can see I have 36 orders with a balance. I can calculate the totals. This is what you'd normally do when you're in receivables. And I'm going to click on this little vault tab. And what I can see is I can see which customers have items stored in the vault. And remember, the items don't have to just be credit cards. They could be ACH as well. So you can give your customers the option of paying with credit card or paying with ACH, tokenized. So the first thing I'm going to do is check for errors. And this is just giving me the error results, but I can also see it in my OnSite on screen. I can see all the ones with errors, and I'm going to go ahead and say omit orders. I'm going to omit all the orders with errors, and I only have 2 left. So all the other ones had errors because they were negative, meaning you cannot do in bulk, you cannot issue credits. You can do credits with ShopWorks Pay, you just can't do it in bulk. So I have 2 orders here that I want to go ahead and ding for, and I would just click on bulk process, and I would continue on from there, and it would scroll through. I only have 2, but you might have 50 or 100. It would go through, and it would hit each credit card. If a credit card is declined for every reason, it doesn't stop the whole process. It's going to go on to the next card, and it will give you a report at the end as to which transactions did not work, and it'll tell you why. So that's bulk processing. Again, more training videos on this. I know I'm going through this quickly, but that's another one of the big advantages with ShopWorks Pay. You don't have that if you're using auth.net or another payment processor. Within OnSite, only ShopWorks Pay allows you to do the bulk payments. The number 7 advantage of ShopWorks Pay is Merchant Track. Now, what is Merchant Track? So normally when you are using a credit card processing company, you process your credit cards, and then they have a website, and then you log into that website, and in that website you can see all the transactions that are going in. You can do reporting, you can do a whole bunch of different functions. Well, one of the nice things about ShopWorks Pay is that is all integrated right within an OnSite. Now what that means is we have a ShopWorks Pay tool now available on your toolbar. So if you hover over it, it says ShopWorks Pay, and if I click on it, oh, I got a setting I got to fix here. Bear with me one second. So if I click on that ShopWorks Pay icon, it automatically takes you to a website. Now, the thing to notice about that is it automatically logs me in. So it does not require you to log in. You're just using your on-site credentials to log in to your ShopWorks Pay Merchant Track dashboard. And from here, I can see, recent transactions. This is like our dashboard here. You have a transaction search. You have a virtual terminal, meaning if you wanted to process credit cards from a web browser, you can do so. And you also have a reporting section. Obviously, this reporting section is going to be real important for you. So now the other nice thing about that is you can control users from within OnSite. So if I go back to my OnSite system, if you notice when I was looking at that ShopWorks Pay tool, there's an edit button by it, and I can decide who has access to what settings. So I'm an administrator as the fictional Jay Markinson, and I have access to everything. But let me scroll down here. I have Alyssa Mullaby, and Alyssa is in my accounting department, but I don't want her to have access to everything. So if I click on this edit, notice I have certain things she doesn't have access to. I've turned off the virtual terminal. I do not want to allow her to void or refund transactions or do these other things. I only want to allow her to do transaction searches and to do reporting. So you control not only who has access to this merchant track, but you have access to certain features within merchant track, and that's all managed from within OnSite. There's no need to give them separate access credentials. Once they log into OnSite, they'll have access based on settings that you give them. So that's an easier way to administer to your account, and you manage it all from within OnSite. Advantage number 8 is probably the biggest advantage, except for cost savings. Cost savings is probably the biggest advantage. The second biggest advantage is probably advantage number 8, and that's click to pay. So what does click to pay mean? Well, click to pay means that you want to be able to send your customers an invoice. You can do that from within OnSite right now, but you want them to be able to pay right from that invoice you send them. Maybe they're paying from the invoice. Maybe they're paying from a link in the email. But either way, you want them to be able to pay from that from a link that's generated from within OnSite. And then you want that payment to just automatically apply to the invoice and apply in the OnSite system. So your customer would get that link, they pay online, the payment comes into OnSite and is applied to the invoice automatically. Now, with ShopWorks Pay, this is a free feature where it's only available with ShopWorks Pay, and you don't need manage orders. Now, why am I saying you don't need manage orders? Why am I even mentioning manage orders? The reason why is because click to pay is available today. Today, if you're using any of our payment processors from within OnSite, and if you have manage orders, that's the key. And if you have manage orders, this click to pay functionality exists. However, with ShopWorks Pay, we're going to make it even more streamlined, and we're going to make it free. You don't have to have manage orders. Manage orders has an additional cost associated with it, and that's not the only feature of manage orders. Manage orders allows you to do a bunch of other things too. But if you just want click to pay, and if you don't want any other manage orders features, then ShopWorks Pay will have this click to pay feature built into it. Now, the only thing I got to say about this number 8 is it's coming soon. So as of today, it's not available. But when I say soon, it's on the order of weeks. This is going to be available in the next couple of weeks. We're going to have this click to pay feature available. All right, so let's flip back over to our OnSite. So one of the other things I wanted to show you is I've kind of showed you how you can receive a payment from an order. I can also receive a payment directly from accounting. So if I go over to accounting and I'm in my payments area of accounting, and of course all access controlled, let's say, and when you're doing it on an order, just keep in mind, every payment you receive applies only to that order. And that works great, but there's times where I have a customer who says, I want to just pay for all these invoices at once. Okay, so let's just look at our DC Special Olympics again. Let's just look at everything we have. Let's just say they told us they wanted to pay for a bunch of these invoices at the same time, invoices and orders in progress rather, and they've told us they want to do a $3,000 payment, and they want to pay off, maybe half of this, and a couple of their smaller ones. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to run the credit card. So I'm going to click on this little run credit card check, check button, e-check, which is the same as ACH. I'm going to do credit, and again, $3,000. And again, we have our options. We can do it manually, we can use a terminal, or we can do the credit card vault. In this case, again, I'm going to use the credit card vault. I'm going to go ahead and process those dollars, and we're going to get approved here. Transaction successful. So now I'm going to apply this payment just like you would in OnSite with anything else, but it's already run through, and I'm going to apply it. So let's just say I'm going to apply to this one $2,000. Oh, no, that one's already been paid for. Apply this one. I'm going to apply to this one, to pay those in full. And I don't have any other ones. Oh, I do have a couple other ones in progress. And then I'll apply the balance to this order. So I've now applied that single $3,000 credit card we processed to 3 different invoices. So if you're processing a credit card and you want to apply it to multiple invoices, you're going to do that from the payment section. If you're applying to a single invoice, you can do it from here as well, or you can do it from the sales order. And that's all just going to depend on how you set up access rights from within your system. Okay, so that's kind of it for ShopWorks Pay. I want to talk a little bit about some of the other features within OnSite 10. So we've made some minor UI, which means user interface. So that's just kind of how it looks, tweaks, and we've also fixed some glitches. So if you noticed, we just changed the colors of the tool, so not a big deal. Just makes it look a little bit cleaner. We've also made some changes to the touchscreen component of OnSite with just the visualization of how it's visualized, how it looks. So those are very minor, but they are part of the upgrade. Another thing we've done is we've made enhancements to the API for Shopify and WooCommerce. So both Shopify and WooCommerce, we allow you to bring in details on sales tax and detail on discounts for Shopify. Previously, those were like just a summary. So if you had 5 discounts, they'd be kind of lumped into one. Now you can break out the detail of that. So that's a new setting that we have. We've also improved the SNS integration. So a couple months ago, we came out with the SNS integration. And it was a little, just in certain circumstances, it ran slower than we wanted. So that's been enhanced or fixed, if you will. The SNS integration is faster. If you would like more details on the OnSite 10 upgrade summary, what hardware you need, all that sort of thing, here's a link. I'm going to drop into your handouts. So I just dropped into your handouts. Handouts is part of the GoToMeeting. So if you look on your handouts, you'll be able to download all the slides that I've shown you today, and these links are in there. So you don't have to write these down. Just download that PDF document, and you'll have all the links in there. If you want the upgrade, so you don't have to get ShopWorks Pay to get the upgrade. OnSite 10 is available to any ShopWorks customer who has a cloud-based or a rental, or if you're on a support contract, you can get it. It's not going to be any additional cost for that. And to get that, all you got to do is email support@shopworks.com. So if you want the upgrade, regardless of why you want it, even if you don't want ShopWorks Pay, email us, and we'll get you on the list to get you the upgrade. So ShopWorks Pay, we do offer a free no obligation quote for that. There's 2 ways you can get that. The first way you can get it is you can go to our website. If I can navigate there, let's see. So if you go to our website, when I say our website, I mean our regular just shopworks.com website, and you go to products, you'll see a ShopWorks Pay. And if you click on that, it'll tell you about ShopWorks Pay, and there's a get rate quote button right there. So that's one way to get a quote. Another way to get a quote is just email support. If you want a quote, just email support. Greg from our support department will contact you. It is a very easy process to get you a quote, and then you can decide if you want to go forward or not. So that's our options there. So that's basically it for our presentation today. I do have one more poll I'm going to give you, and this poll is, would you like a no obligation quote? I'm going to launch this poll, and again, you can say yes or no. The answer is yes or no. So even if you don't want to be contacted, go ahead and fill it out, because this is going to get you an entry into that raffle for the $100 gift card. So again, free, no obligation quote. We're not going to strong arm you on it. We're not going to be a high pressure company. That's not who we are. And like I said, it's a simple process. Greg from ShopWorks will contact you to get that process started. And we'll end this in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, thanks for everybody voting. We have great attendance today. I see some questions have come in. If you don't have any question, if you have a question, now's the time to type it in. So I'm just going to start going through them. Debbie asks, so you're no longer using PayJunction. You still have the option to use PayJunction. There are advantages to ShopWorks Pay that PayJunction doesn't have. But if you're a PayJunction customer and you want to stay with PayJunction, that's not a problem. You can still transact through the on-site system using PayJunction. So Neil asked, will future invoices have a link to pay? Yep, I think I showed you that, the click to pay option. So that is going to be available. Now that one's going to be a couple weeks away. We'll do a big announcement, obviously, when that's available, but that we're a couple of weeks away on that one. Let's see. Joni asked, if they're a PayJunction company, can they transition into ShopWorks Pay? Of course. If you're using auth.net or PayJunction, ShopWorks Pay is just another option for you. Like I said, we think it's the best option, but that's up to you to determine. David asked, how does it vary from PayJunction? Seems like PCI tokens, etc., are they all the same? Yeah, I mean, PayJunction does use tokens, and you can use the vault with PayJunction. You cannot use the vault if you're using auth.net. But ShopWorks Pay has other advantages that PayJunction doesn't have. So, in fact, if you go to our website, on the ShopWorks Pay page, if you scroll down, you'll see kind of a little comparison between ShopWorks Pay and other processors, and it'll do a comparison chart for you. Now, actually, this is like auth.net. If I were to put PayJunction in here as well, PayJunction does have the ability to store the credit cards securely. So you do have that option, and the first two would be yes for PayJunction. But there are other advantages, so you'll have to compare those, but you can use any of these right now. Tyler asks, will cash-based sales tax reporting be fixed in OnSite 10? Tyler, I'm not sure about that one. I'll have to check with John on glitches, if that's a glitch. But I'll have to check and circle back with you on that. I'm personally not aware of some sort of glitch in there, but I will talk to John and circle back with you on that. So let me just take a note here on that. Okay. David asked, can we generate a please pay link from OnSite so the customer inputs their data themselves? Yes, we can. We can do that. Now, he also asked, if so, does it store that as a token? Well, the transaction will all be secure and tokenized, but the customer themselves, I don't know if they'll be able to say to store that in the vault for future payments or not. I'll have to find out about that. We haven't programmed it yet, so that's why I don't know. But that is a good suggestion. We'll see if we can get that one in there. Neil, can ShopWorks Pay store in the vault with the link in the invoice? Yep, that's the click to pay feature that we're going to have. Tina asked, difference between ShopWorks and PayJunction, ShopWorks Pay and PayJunction. Hopefully I've kind of pointed those out here. Listen, PayJunction's a good company. They have a good product, so I'm not trying to denigrate that product. I just think there's advantages with ShopWorks Pay. Rick asked, does ShopWorks Pay have a plugin for WooCommerce? That's a great question. I will have to ask that one. I'll have to find that one out. I'm not sure about that one. Michelle asked, there's no need for credit card terminals? No, you don't have to have a credit card terminal. Now, if you physically want to scan a card, if it's card present, meaning you have the card in your hand, the customer is physically in your shop and you want to scan the card, then you need a terminal. But not really, because you can actually scan it through your on-site system. If you've used our point of sale system, so we have a point of sale module, and in that point of sale module, you can scan credit cards, and you can do that from OnSite as well. So I guess the answer is you don't have to have a credit card terminal. Some people just like them. Are there specific credit card terminals for ShopWorks? TJ asked this question. Yes, there are. And again, if you go to our ShopWorks Pay page, and sorry for all the flipping around here, but if I go to the ShopWorks Pay page and you scroll down a little bit, there's a ShopWorks Pay overview PDF, and there's another PDF document on the different terminals. So you can get those right from our website on what terminals are available. Let's see. Neil asks, will ShopWorks 10 remove authorized.net? No, we're not doing that. ShopWorks authorized.net and PayJunction are not removed from the system. You can still use those. Janelle asks, can you issue a credit refund to a credit card even if it wasn't originally charged? I don't know. That's a good question. I'm not sure on that one. I'm going to say the answer is no through OnSite. However, you might be able to do it through the Merchant Track website. So through the website, you can probably process the refund, through there. And I think the reason why it's fraud protection, but I'm not 100% sure on that. So I would have to do a little bit more research on that. Vincent asks, how long after switch will ShopWorks Pay go live? Well, ShopWorks Pay is live today. So ShopWorks Pay is available now through OnSite 10. I think the question might be, how long does it take to once you get on OnSite 10? I mean, the approval process is only a couple days. So, if you get your quote and you like it and you say, I want to move forward, it's only a couple days to set that process up, because it does have to go through an underwriting process, but it's a much simpler underwriting process. Tammy asks, can you jump from version 8.3 to 10? She's already talked to Greg. You can't jump, but Greg can help you get from 8.3 to 10, excuse me. So he can get you from 8.3 to 10. I don't want to call it a jump, because you do have to do a couple different upgrades. I mean, that's many years of not doing upgrades. So we can definitely do that. Jim says he's already talked with Greg and he's already signed up for ShopWorks Pay, but he does not see the icon in his ShopWorks. So if you're interested in some training materials, if you go to the ShopWorks help website, so it's shopworkshelp.com. If you go to that website and click on ShopWorks Pay from the link, or if you go down here and click on ShopWorks Pay, there's just a single link in there. Click on it, and this link will have everything that you need to set up. So there's a payment gateway setup, there's user settings setup. That's the 2 setup videos. I would watch those, or just contact Greg, and Greg will be able to walk you through something. It sounds like something's just not set up properly, or maybe your upgrade hasn't been done, but that's a simple fix. So I would just say contact Greg, and he'll be able to take care of that. Lynn asks, how do you transition from manage orders to click to pay? Lynn, it'll be very easy. If you're using manage orders and you just only want the click to pay feature, once we have that feature in ShopWorks Pay, you just start using it and turn off manage orders. It's that simple. And that'll be available, like I said, within a couple weeks. Rick says, can you show the virtual terminal? Yeah, let me show you that. I'm not going to process a transaction because I don't have a credit card here to do that. But if I click on virtual terminal, you can simply see, it's pretty straightforward. You enter an invoice number and a customer ID. Those are optional fields. Then you have, subtotal, tax, and tip, and you enter your payment method and click on submit. So that's basically it. I mean, it's just basically a web form where you enter the credit card information. But that's not how you're going to process most of your most of your transactions. Most of your transactions are going to be transacted through OnSite because it's just simply faster. Let's see. Catherine asks, great question. I may have missed this. Is the credit card fee captured in the invoice to the customer? No. So what Catherine is asking is, let's say we want to pass along our credit card fees to the customer, and we're saying that we're going to charge a 3% fee, or whatever you want to make it, 2% fee, whatever you want, $50, $20, flat fee, however you want to do it. Anytime we process a credit card, we're passing that along to the customer. No, OnSite does not have the ability to do that. We are working on that for the future, but it is complicated because if you're dealing with an order that's already been invoiced, it's already in one accounting period, and you'd have to modify the invoice and incur the general ledger entries into a different accounting period. So there's some challenges there, but that is something we are working on. We know customers are interested in that. So remember, this is our ShopWorks Pay 1.0. There will be upgrades, just like we upgrade everything. Ben asks, is there a minimum amount of credit card processing per month for ShopWorks Pay? I don't think so. I don't think there is a minimum, not that I've heard. Clay asks, will this streamline making deposits? Absolutely, especially once we have the click to pay, because what's going to happen is, these payments through click to pay are automatically going to be, they're not only automatically charging the credit card when the customer clicks, they're automatically adding those transactions to your on-site system. So when I go bank accounts and go, I'm ready to do a deposit, let's just say I'm doing my operating account. And let's just say I'm doing visas. I will see that in here. I would see those transactions. These transactions, wherever they come from, will be in the system. So yes, those transactions will already be in your system. You don't have to manual enter them, and that's why it does make it faster. Debbie asks, you gave us a lot of pros, but what are the cons with ShopWorks Pay? What are the cons? Well, and I'm being honest about this. Maybe there are some cons, but I don't think so. None that I could think of. I mean, it's credit card processing, so it makes things go faster. There are ShopWorks Pay features available that aren't available with auth.net and PayJunction. So the only possible disadvantage would be if the rates are more expensive. But what you're going to find is that the rates are cheaper. And that's where our meet or beat guarantee comes in. Well, it's not a guarantee, but meet or beat pricing. So obviously, if we come back with higher prices, you're not going to go with us. Why would you pay more? So that's really the only disadvantage I could think of. Jackie asked, will you be discontinuing PayJunction in the future? That's a great question. We don't know. ShopWorks is not owned by myself anymore. ShopWorks is owned by a company called Full Steam. You got that announcement earlier in the year. Full Steam is great. They're not trying to muscle out these other credit card processors. We would like you to just process with ShopWorks Pay because it's a better product. However, because I'm not the owner of the company, I can't 100% say that at some point in the future, they're not going to want to be the only processor. What I will say is that you'll always be able to process with other processors. You just have to manually enter them into OnSite. That's not the best option. The other thing is I've not heard that they want to cancel any of these other products. There's been no talk of that, so there are no plans for it. But I cannot 100% say that would rule it out in the future. But again, there's no plans for it right now. You'll be able to still use auth.net. You can still use PayJunction. Mara asks a great question. Mara or Mara, I'm sorry if I pronounced it wrong. How long does it take to get funds through this? It's 1 day. So if you process today, your funds go in the next day. Tina asked, will the SNS integration updates fix the glitches when picking products? We've been having some problems where it's issuing a wrong description when picking a product. I think that had to do with how SNS handles their product part numbers, and they actually have duplicates. They have multiple part numbers multiple items that have the same part number. So I'll have to check with tech support on that one. I don't know if that's something that we can fix. If it's a data problem on SS's side, we can't, but they might have figured something out around that. So that will have to be a follow-up that I'll have to do with you. Yeah, and I'll get back to you on that one. Evan asks, are you aware of the glitch whereby editing a stored find requires to log completely out of the system? I don't know about that. But if you email me, jay@shopworks.com, just kind of email me. I need a little bit more detail than that. Like, where is it happening? Is it happening everywhere? Is it only happening in one spot? Is it happening like when the stored find doesn't work and then you hit a button? There's going to be some, if this was a problem that was happening everywhere in the system, we'd know about it. So it's either happening in one spot or under certain circumstances. So any information you can give me, Evan, along those lines, just email it to j@shopworks.com, and I will take a look at it with our development staff. Corey asked, does this still use auth.net? No, this is technology through Full Steam, our parent company. So it's our own proprietary. That's why ShopWorks quote is the credit card processing company. We're not using auth.net. We're using our own technology here for this. Brent asks, how do we get trained for ShopWorks Pay? He's already signed up. Great. Welcome aboard. And you just go to ShopWorks Help. And there's only one ShopWorks Pay item in here. And it has a bunch of different videos in it. Also, you can reach out to our support staff. They can help with that as well. Robert asks, can I get a recording of this webinar? Yes, it is recorded. I will share that link with you by Monday, rather. So we'll do that. Tina asks another great question. Is there a way to send a link with multiple invoices to be paid via the link rather than us having to manually run the card? Well, click to pay will be per invoice. So to answer your question, no, click to pay is only paying that one invoice. We are working on, we're already got our brains around a way where we might be able to do multiple invoices, but I can't promise that one because it gets much more complicated. So probably in our first release of click to pay, which is part of ShopWorks Pay, it'll just be one click pays one order. So if you have customers where they're paying off multiple invoices, maybe a better way to do it is have them, use the credit card vault and you contact them, they give you approval and you do it yourself. But we are looking at that for the future. Terminals. Yeah, I gave you this is a question from Heather about the terminals. Yes, we have terminals available. I gave you the link. Can the tokens be saved when you click on an invoice on an order? Not sure yet because we haven't done that part yet. The programming hasn't been done. Can you make payments in bulk with different customer IDs at the same time? Yes, you can. So when you charge a credit card, like in that example, I charged $3,000 and I applied it to DC Special Olympics. Well, you can apply that however you want. So now that's if you're doing credit cards that way. Click to pay, the customer can only pay for their one invoice, as I mentioned. But if you're using the OnSite system, yes, you can apply a payment to different customer accounts. Rick, great question. Is this available for Canadians? I'm sorry, it's not. Not yet. Full Steam has told us that they are working on this for Canada. Currently, it's only available for US processing. Hopefully that will change in the near future. And when it does, we will have obviously a big announcement about that. Let's see. Corey asks, our company website requires an auth.net plugin. That's why I was asking about the auth.net. Okay. I'll have to find out about plugin capability. Yeah, ShopWorks Pay is designed to be used with managed orders and OnSite. That part's 100%. As far as like a regular website, or like just a plugin, I don't know. So you would maybe in that circumstance have to have multiple processors. Does ShopWorks Pay send receipts to the customer? No, ShopWorks Pay does not. Although, if you're sending a click to pay link, that the customer will be able to see the invoice in that. So when we have click to pay, yes, but ShopWorks Pay itself is simply payment processing. Tina asks, if we have a Pay Junction terminal, we need to get a new terminal. If we switch to ShopWorks Pay, you would. These terminals are hardwired, and this is a security thing. They're hardwired to the payment processing company. Maybe unless you're using something like auth.net, which is more generic technology. But yes, you would have to get different terminals. However, our terminals you don't have to buy them. You can rent them, and they're pretty inexpensive. That document I referenced you to will have that information in it. Neil asks, will managed orders and processing credit cards work the same, or is managed orders getting an upgrade as well? Well, managed orders is, I guess the answer, we're always upgrading it, but it's going to work the same with regards to credit card processing. It's just that with ShopWorks Pay, ShopWorks Pay is also integrated with OnSite. So I don't know if that, and manage orders. So I don't know if that's really answering the question, but hopefully. Yeah, I'm not sure with regards to the credit card processing. Manage orders will kind of work the same, I guess is what I'm saying, but you can use ShopWorks Pay with it. Do you have terminals available for free? When you're getting your quote, tell them you want a free terminal. See what they say. So ShopWorks, the company, doesn't do the underwriting. That's done by Full Steam, our parent company. But, I don't know. Maybe you can. If you're doing enough processing, I'm sure you could get a free terminal, but you didn't hear that from me. But, ask for the world and see what you get. Maybe you're able to get one. Vincent asks how long to go live after switch from current process. Only a couple days is going to be the whole process there. Can several locations batch together? Is settlement automatic? Settlement is automatic. I don't know if several locations can batch together. That one I'd have to find out about, but settlement is automatic. Can ShopWorks Pay? I'm going through these fast, everybody, because we do have a ton of questions here. I'm happy to answer them, but we are running out of time, so I want to get to as many as I can. Don't forget, if you still have questions, you can always contact support. Send me an email. I'll route you to the right person, and we'll get you answers. Kyle asks, can ShopWorks Pay be used as the processor for managed orders? It absolutely can. Tina asks, if a card is declined, yes, it tells you why the card is declined. Right when the screen comes up that it says declined, it will tell you why. And if you need more information on that, then you just click on it. You can click on the merchant track and see more information in there from within OnSite. Larry asks, will you have gift cards? That's a question I don't know. I mean, we have a gift card feature from within OnSite, a coupon and gift card feature. Or no, we have a coupon feature. I don't know if we have a gift card feature. Larry, that one I don't know about. I'll have to ask about gift cards. So Debbie asks, what is the feature or tool in ShopWorks to use with no terminal if you don't want to use a terminal? If you don't want to use a terminal, you simply, like I said, you can process right from a payment. I can just click on a customer payment, and there's a run credit card option right there. That's in OnSite 10. In previous versions, you'd have to go to credit card and then click on the run button, but you have that now. Another option is from the sales order. So on the sales order payments page, you can add a payment, and I can process the credit card right from there without a terminal. I can just do that manually. Jackie asks, is there any paperwork required from ShopWorks customers for PCI compliance? I don't think so. That's a good question to ask when you get your quote or during the onboarding process for ShopWorks Pay. I don't think there's any requirement on that that I know of, but I'm not 100% sure. That's a question I'll have to ask. My email address, Joni's asking, it's jay@shopworks, shopworks.com. So you can always send me, if you want a quote, send it to me. I'm not the person doing the quote, but I'll route that here internally to the ShopWorks person who does, or you can always do support@shopworks.com. Tyler asks, are there refreshes being planned for Proof Stuff? Good question, Tyler. Actually, we're in the middle of a complete rewrite of Proof Stuff, so it's going to be more than a refresh. We're going to have some announcements about that a little bit later this year, but you're going to be able to do more branding. You're going to be able to do a custom URL. There's a lot of cool things. The customer is going to be able to write on the proof and physically write like on an image of what if they want to move something. So yes, a new Proof Stuff refresh of Proof Stuff is coming out soon. We will keep you posted on that. Joni typed in my email address. That is correct. Tyler asks, is there a chance in the future managed orders, Click to Pay, and Proof Stuff, a more robust web platform, could be combined into if you have managed orders and Proof Stuff right now, they work together. So if your customer logs into managed orders and they see an order, you can have the proofs on that order. I guess what you mean by a more robust web platform is maybe, like an order taking kind of thing. Then we start getting into web shopping carts. It gets kind of complicated. So we're always looking to improve all of our products, Tyler. Like I said, we're doing a rewrite of Proof Stuff, manage orders. We're always adding improvements. So we see those as an important part of our ShopWorks product line. So I guess that's kind of what our view on it is. Mara asks, is there a contract with ShopWorks Pay? No, you can just use it, and then if you don't want it anymore, you don't have to use it. Heather asked, can the terminals read chips? Yes, certain terminals have chip reading capabilities. We have that available. Jackie asks, if a customer calls after they paid a click to pay invoice and asks for that payment to be reapplied, can that be done? Certainly, because it'll just come into OnSite as a payment. Before you deposit that payment in OnSite, you could reapply it. Yes. So your answer is going to be yes there. So the customer makes a mistake. They pay the wrong invoice, or they want it applied differently for XYZ reason. Yes, you'll be able to make that adjustment. Robert asked, can we add ShopWorks Pay to our website, which is separate from ShopWorks? That's a great question. I'm going to say yes, but I have to look into the details of how that's going to work. So, Robert, I will circle back with you on that. Some of these questions I apologize for not having the answer to, but this is semi-new to us as well, so we're learning on the fly, but I will find out. Mara asks, ShopWorks about sending a credit card receipt when the payment's made. So I don't know on that one. That's a good question too. So the question is, when in ShopWorks Pay, when a customer pays, does it send them a receipt? I don't know. I'm gonna have to find out about that. That's a great question. Catherine asked, can customers select ACH through manage orders to pay invoices? Yes. I think the answer is yes there. Yeah, you can pay in manage orders. You can pay, your customer can pay via credit card or ACH. Now, it might be a setting. You might have that setting turned off. But if you're using manage orders, you certainly have that feature. So I would contact support. Debbie asks, follow-up question, is there a way to scan a card if the person is in-house without a terminal? Yes, you can. So what you can do is you can go on Amazon and you can just buy a cheapy barcode scanner. And you can use that to process credit cards. Well, what you can do is you can click on payment. What you would do is you click on payment. You'd click on credit. Okay, and let's say I'm going to do this amount. I go to next, and front desk. These are terminals, credit card terminals. I could go to manual, and we have all the information. I'm going to continue. And here's where I'm presented with a card number, and I could scan. Now, if I had a credit card scanner, like a barcode scanner, I can scan that credit card, and it'll populate the information in there. So I hope I answered your question that time. Now, I don't know if that's going to get you, really be the best solution for you, but you do have that option. So, all right, everybody, we're out of time. I really want to thank you again for taking part in this. If you responded yes to the no obligation quote, somebody will reach out to you. I will also circle back on these questions. I will also send you a link via email of where the video is if you want to rewatch it. And we'll have our raffle on, actually, we'll probably do the raffle on Monday. I'll do the raffle on Monday. And somebody will be getting a $100 gift card. So thanks again for your time. We appreciate your business. We appreciate you being a long-term ShopWorks customer, and we will see you in the next webinar.